Hello everyone, I'm Krish and I'm part of Est Enterprise for 7+ years now, working as a technical architect. I would like to welcome all of you to our this fifth edition of our tech meetup. Today we are all here for a very interesting discussion about headless Drupal and its applications. I'm sure all of you must be excited and are eagerly waiting to hear from our speaker. Before we start the tech meetup today, I would like to give you a quick brief about Est Enterprise. Est Enterprise is an IT service company specialized in crafting software solutions for startups, small and medium enterprises. With an agile, ready, dynamic workforce of 350 plus technology artists, creating value in all directions, Eastern Enterprise helps 100 plus clients across Europe in creating software solutions that are really robust, creative, user-centric, secured, and modern, of course, and as well as really design performant. Working with East Enterprise, change becomes the most dynamic, powerful source of progress, and the heart and soul of East Enterprise is its people. So that's a quick intro about our organization in a nutshell. You can have more details or you can visit www.eastenterprise.com to know more about it. Now, I would like to quickly introduce to our esteemed speaker for today and run you through the agenda of this meetup. Our speaker for today is Ashish Prabhakar. He is a Drupal lead with a demonstrated history of working in multiple domains and have designed, guided, and developed a vast variety of Drupal applications that includes e-commerce, social networking, B2B, real estates, and lot more. Before I hand over the stage to our speaker, few quick housekeeping rules for all of you present here today. In case anyone faces any issues, please feel free to post it in the chat and our team will get back to you and try to fix the same. In case of any queries, please don't hesitate to put the same in the comment section and our speakers will try to answer the same at the end of the talk. We will be having a question answer session after the talk. At the end of the meetup, request you all to provide your valuable feedback as it would really help us to serve you better and provide you a better experience in our future tech meetups. The feedback link is already posted in the chat. So now I would like to welcome you to our speaker Ashish. Welcome Ashish. The stage is all yours Ashish.
Hey, thank you, Krish. So my name is Ashish Prabhakar. I have over 12 years experience into IT, and I've been working somewhere around 11 years into Drupal. I started my career in Drupal 6. Sorry, I'm currently working in Drupal 9, and yeah, today I'm going to talk about headless Drupal. Um, so, so what are the agenda or what I'll cover in this presentation? First, we'll see what does Drupal support or how does Drupal support headless, okay, and then we'll to dive into other details, and then towards the end we'll see an example using React.js or jQuery. Okay, so I hope everybody's ready. Let's begin. Yeah. Okay. So, foremost question or the first question is how does Drupal support headless? Okay. Why to choose Drupal for headless? There are numerous CMS out there. Why to choose only Drupal, or how it is one of the best? So basically, Drupal is divided into three layered structure. Okay. So you have theming or template layer, then you have logical layer, and then you have database layer. All three layers can work in a I would say independent manner. Okay. So template, if you see here on the screen, template is the front end. Okay. Earlier we was using PHP template. Now we are using Quick template. Okay. Then there is a logical layer which include modules, block menus, user permission, etc. And then there's a data or database which can be MySQL, MSQL, where your nodes, content, and user profiles are stored. Okay. So since all these three layers works independently, we can anytime choose which layer we want to remove and use another layer. We can use any database, MySQL, MSQL, Oracle. Drupal does support that. And then coming to front end, you can either use Drupal front end or you can use any front end which you want to use. So that's what the beauty of layered structure that helps Drupal to support headless. So let me quickly dive into the other details. Yeah. So understanding headless. What is headless? Actually? So if you see there is a unified CMS system like WordPress there, Laravel is there, Drupal is there. So what does this contain? It contains backend, it contains logic, it contains front end. Everything served from the same CMS. Okay. But in the decoupled architecture, we use database, we use logic, we use APIs from the native CMS. But the front end, we choose front end of our choice, which can be React, which can be Angular. Now people are using Vue.js, Next.js, which are the upgraded version of the existing UI or front end technologies. Okay. So now that it's been, I think, more than 7-8 years, we've been listening or hearing about headless CMS. Okay. So there is traditional CMS, headless CMS. Okay. What next? So next, now people are using hybrid CMS. What is hybrid CMS? Hybrid CMS can be, I would say, a mixture of traditional CMS and headless CMS. It can, I mean, you can use the power of traditional and headless both. Okay. Why to restrict yourself to one of the architecture? So if I show you a picture here, if you see, we use CMS as a backend, okay, and we serve content as a service. Okay. So once you expose your APIs or web services, that that is exposed, and your content, either you can expose it to one platform, or you can expose it to multiple platforms. So your CMS basically act as content as a service. Okay. And your front end can be anything. It can be web app, it can be mobile app, it can be digital sign, okay. It can be, it can be TV also. Okay. So here in this diagram, if you see, there are smart TVs which you can connect to your CMS. You can connect to voice app. You can use Alexa. Read out some news for me. Okay. And if there is a news, okay, so there's Alexa speaking in the background. So if you use Alexa, and then you say, okay, he read out news for me from one of the applications. So it will read out the news for you. Smart TVs, if you want to, if you have video streamings, if you have e-commerce APIs, you can expose that to your e-commerce channel. So as you can see here, there is only one single CMS which is serving differently as per the requirement of different applications. Like commerce, you can have commerce APIs. For voice app, you can have voice APIs. For mobile app, you can have mobile APIs. Okay. And if you have marketing site, you can have different products as APIs. So that's a power of hybrid CMS. Okay. So let's see an example. Okay. Before diving into the example, let me tell you what all I'll cover in the example. Okay. So I'll cover the Drupal setup. How do you set up Drupal? Okay. How do you set up React? Okay. And there is also a small example using jQuery, just to show that it's not only advanced technologies which you can use. You can also use native jQuery or JavaScript as well with the headless Drupal, or this example which I'm going to show. Okay. So first setting which you need to do in your application is course. What is course? Course basically allows you to share your resources between multiple applications. Okay. So it's like cross origin resource sharing. So if you do these settings properly, then multiple application can access your content, and also uh, I would say write or patch the content within your system. Let me show it by a file. Yeah. So yeah. So where does this course setting lies within Drupal? So you can go to web, you can go to site, you can go to default, and then services.yaml. And towards the end, you can see there is course config. So here I've enabled course. Okay. I've allowed CSRF token. I've allowed content type as headers. Methods I've allowed get, post, patch, and delete. Okay. Get is to get the content, post it to if you want to add new content, patch is if you want to update a content, delete if you want to delete a content, and allow origin, like which all origins you want to allow your these methods to be accessible. I mean, if you allow everything, like if you like, I did star here. Okay. In this case, any application with any URL can access your web services. Okay. But you might not want that. Okay. So based on the requirement, you can provide the absolute URL here for your application, and then yeah, that those applications will be able to use your web services. Okay, and then supports credential. This is for authentication that we'll see in subsequent uh, demo. Coming to Drupal, so while setting up Drupal, the I would say the minimum requirement is REST API module, okay, and then one of the contributed module which is REST UI module. So if you go to extend, and then if I type in REST. So you can see there are two modules. One is REST Web Services, another one is REST UI. REST Web Services lies into the core. So Drupal, I think since 8, you see REST Web Services within the core. So I've enabled that, and also REST UI. REST. Why do you use REST UI? Just to configure these core provided RESTful web services. Okay. So let me quickly go to configuration, and if you no, if you enable REST Web Service, it will provide all these web services to you, okay, which are action, base field override, block, comment, content. So if you can see, there are web services for any or every content which is present within your site. Okay. Obviously, you can create your own web services, but by default there are so many options available already. So in, I think most of the cases you might not need to create new API. Like users are there, like view modes are there. Okay. For this demo, I've enabled content, okay, wherein content listing and content addition, deletion, and patching you can do. If I added this, you see there are methods. Get method, like I said earlier, is to get the node details or content detail. Post it is to add new content. Delete is to delete a content. A patch is to update a content. Accepted formats are JSON. You can also enable XML if you want to. Okay, and authentication is cookie. So yeah, I think there are other cookie or authentication providers, and you can use as per your requirement. Coming to uh, coming to front end, you see. Okay, here, so this is a basic content page on my website. Okay. And here this is the title and this is the content. Okay. So once you enable your RESTful Web Services module, it does provide an extra URL to you through which you can expose your content via JSON. So if you type something like format equal to JSON, you can see that there is content in JSON format. So if I find for the title, yeah, you can see title values. This is another demo. And if I go back to the page, it's the same. This is another demo, which is title. And then there is body. Okay. Yeah. So I've also created another view, okay, through which I am exposing the list of content, node content. If I go to content list, you can see I've created one view with two display. Okay. So this, what does this do? This expose my content in JSON format, okay, where the whatever the authentication settings I've given. Okay. So if you hit this API, slash, yep. And remember to put in format equal to JSON, as our web service only accept JSON format. You can see there's a list of content. Okay. If I show you my backend, um, I'm using Lando to build my image. Okay. And within Drupal lies within React applies. Now quickly go to React, and let's see how does React list all this content. Okay. So if I refresh my page, you can see this is another demo. If you go to content list here, you can see that this is another demo, is the content here which is listed here. Okay, I've also given the content ID just in case if user want to see. Okay, there are operations you can delete. Okay, and this content add form wherein you can add your new node. Okay, let's see the React code. Actually, how does how do you write React code, and which all services or plugins you can use within React. So if I go to React and then Ajax.js. Okay. So I've used a plugin called Axios, which is uh, I won't say recommended, but very widely used React plugin for consuming services. Okay. So here if you can see, there is one token URL. So this token URL will give you the CSRF token, which is to make sure that your requests are secure. Okay. And then it has base URL. Okay, from the configuration, I've also configured a base URL. If you see config.js, this is the base URL of my where my services are services lies. Okay. And then with credential is since I've enabled cookie method, with credential has to be true. Okay, and then I'm passing my token and params format equal to JSON, like we discussed earlier. Okay. So what does this do? This basically provide a basic, I would say, a box, service box for you to call subsequent services. Okay. Let us go to app.js. Okay. So here most of the functionality is there. Okay. So whatever you see on this page, okay, whether it's logo, heading, listing, everything lies within this app.js. Okay. And then if I show you any service, let's suppose listing service. Okay. So this first calls in Ajax. Okay. So this prepare a Ajax container for us. Okay. And after that, once the container is prepared for us, we are open to call the subsequent services. So I'm calling nodes/rest here. Okay. Which gives me the node list. Okay. And with that node list, I'm updating the state. Okay. And with this state, I'm uh, finally updating my node list, if you can see. So this dot state nodes, and that's get updated through node list. So this is how I'm doing my basic setup. Okay. Also, just for your information, this code is publicly available. Okay. I think you'll find that within the channel. If somebody don't find it, please let us know. Okay. We'll again post the code link. So if I open this node, this is another demo. Okay. Okay. So you can see this is published, everything is here. Okay, there's another body comment, everything is there. This page is accessible. But let's suppose if I want to delete it via React app. So I can go here, I can click delete. Okay. So if you come back to this page, you can see that's page not found because that page has been deleted via React app. So isn't that beautiful that you're able to delete or add node via React app? Let's see how we can add another node. Suppose this is the running demo, and then this is the running demo body. Yep. If you submit it, on what does it do actually? On submission, it adds node. Okay, and then it's update the list state or the this dot state dot nodes state. So once that state is updated, React would automatically pick that up and update my list. You can see that list is here. So if we go to this node, you can see that this is the running demo and here's the body without even touching the Drupal front end. Let me also quickly explain how I have used Lando and what are the basic settings which you can do within Lando. Okay. So if you see Lando, I have three services here enabled. One is app server where my Drupal lies. Okay. Another one is React. This is of type node. Third one, which you don't see here, is database. Okay. That comes in by default from Lando, and also have some tooling or I would say Lando custom commands which you can run. Like if you want to run drush command, composer, npm, etc. So this is a very basic Lando setup. Okay. So to summarize, here are the REST APIs which I'm using for CSRF token /session/token. For views node list, it is node/rest underscore format equal to JSON. Article list is articles JSON page 2. And then, I mean, page two, why page two? That we'll see in another example, which will come back after this slide. And then node operation, node slash node ID, and then you can pass maybe it's post, patch, or delete method if you want to delete any node. Let me quickly go to the jQuery example. Okay, this is not very this is not very I would say fascinating example, but this is just to show that it is, or it was possible to do some kind of headless even 10 years or 12 years before. Okay. So as you can as you have remembered, let me show it again. Actually, I've added view, which is article view here. Okay, so article view, what does it has extra is the image link. Okay, it has title, id, link, everything, but it also has the image link. So what does my jQuery or Ajax function do? It fetches this API and create this grid structure, a beautiful grid structure for me. Let's see the code. So this is basic index.html. It has basic title, and then here I've included minified jQuery and then main.js. Let's see main.js code. So it's very simple code. I'm calling this URL. Okay. I'm calling page two so that we don't get same node within React app and within jQuery example, just to separate out the node titles. Okay. And then once my Ajax is complete within the uh, within the success function, I am populating the grid structure. Okay. And if you can refresh this page, you see it takes some time to make it uh, or populate the grid structure. So that's a small jQuery example, and again everything is there in the public code. Okay, you can access that and play around whenever you want. Okay. Yeah, moving on. Okay. So yeah, this was the example which I have prepared. Hope that helps you. Thank you. And there are other apps. I mean, you can use Angular also. I mean, a lot of people are using Angular. A lot of people are using Vue as per their requirement. And coming to future implementation, what can be the future implementation of headless? Why to use headless at all? Okay, we have traditional. Everything is available within unified headless or a unified CMS. Why to come to headless and take that pain of maintaining two different applications? Okay. So you can build multi-platform games using it. Like Rummy is there. Okay, I don't know if you all know Tambola or Housey. Okay, you can build that also. And the good thing is, whether your user has mobile, tablet, or if they have browser available, okay, or any other electronic application via APIs, they all be able to play from the single platform. Okay. Then there is a public platform. Okay. So publishing platform actually. So you can publish content to multiple platform using the single database or single CMS. You can expose your news to one of the platform. You can expose your I would say products to another application. You can expose your weather forecast to another application. Okay. Then Internet of Things, if database centralized, that data can be used by any of the application, and the possibilities are numerous actually. um, I would say unlimited possibilities are there. Okay. So these are some of the references of the websites which are already using headless Drupal. Okay. Some of the very popular websites actually, weather.com, okay, uh, zinturn.com, okay. And there is a complete list you can see on drupal.org, wherein if you search headless drupal.org, you will find the list of applications which are using headless Drupal already. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Over to you, Krish.
Thank you, Ashish, for this insightful talk. It was quite interesting, and I'm sure the audience loved it as well. We'll quickly move to the question answer section and try to answer some of the queries of our audience which they have. So, Ashish, the first question one of our audience has is like,
Mhm.
there is one progressive decoupled Drupal architecture. So, what is that exactly, and how it helps actually?
Oh, that's a very good question. Actually, it's a very so progressive decoupled architecture is a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of traditional CMS. And then your headless and then hybrid. Actually, so it may or may not have all your components within the site which are headless. Like suppose if you want to create a single widget using Angular, okay, so what you can do, you can embed that Angular model within your site, okay, and have only that widget as a headless structure. Okay, you can also have a weather widget. Okay, so that maybe in your site there's a right hand sidebar, and there you want weather to be updated once in a while. So that can be a headless widget. Okay. So that is called a progressive architecture, wherein you use the capabilities of each and every architecture. Why to leave behind traditional, why to leave behind headless, why to leave behind hybrid. Like, let's use everything and be progressive about it. And another example, it can be, you can expose your layouts. Okay. Maybe you can expose your layouts, and other application can use your layouts. Search API is another example. If search API, you can index your content via Drupal, okay, but you can show it via another advanced front end technology. Okay. So that's the beauty of progressive architecture.
Okay. Okay, clear. Thanks, Ashish. So then there is one more question from one of our audience is like, let's say if in
Mhm.
future he or she is migrating to another CMS, so what will be the impact over the API, or what would be the impact of the API?
If you want to migrate only the front end from one application to another application,
Okay.
you don't have to change your APIs at all. Okay, you can change to any front end you want. Okay, but if you want to change backend, yeah, that is a problem. But that's a beauty, right? Why to change backend, right? Everybody
Okay.
wants to change the front end.
Okay. Okay. I hope this answers the question of one of our audience already. So is it? I have one more question. Like, is it okay if Drupal and Headless reside in the same structure?
Yeah, I think it's fine actually. You can decide, you can, like I said earlier, you can embed React apps within your theme. You can embed Angular models within your theme, and it's a very advanced structure and easy to maintain. Okay. Like I was working one of the project with Harvard, and
Okay.
there I've embedded a media browser. Okay, so that time media browser was not that advanced, and for our user we want something very very good look and feel wise. So that widget was Angular. So yeah, there is always a, I would say, advantages of using each structure, and just that you need to find out which is best for you.
Oh, great, great. And thanks for sharing this experience of your Harvard. So there is one more question from one of our audience is like, what are some of the best practices which can be used for the best web services implementations?
Oh, that's actually a good question, and very vast also. But let me brief about it actually. So there are
Okay.
uh, three, I would say, most popular web services architecture. Okay, one is RESTful, another one is a JSON API. Okay, so and the final one is GraphQL. Okay, so if you use only REST, so it should be used for the smaller application wherein there's not much of traffic, because REST transaction are, I would say, very costly. Okay. While transaction within or read transaction within JSON API and GraphQL are are very low cost, are of very low cost.
Okay.
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 And the difference between JSON API and GraphQL is that writing transaction within GraphQL is a bit more costlier than JSON API. So if your, let's say, if your application is only read only with the thousands or hundred thousands of users, you should go with JSON API. Okay. But if your
Okay.
application also or you can go with GraphQL, any of these two. But if your application has more of the right operations, then I think you should go with JSON API.
All right. Okay. Clear. Thanks, Ashish. There is one I had because we are talking about decoupled architecture. So I think one of our audiences also asked the question in a way like, okay, so what are the authentication methods that we can use with this decoupled architecture?
I think you can use any of the advanced authentication method. You can use OAuth 2.0. You can use two-factor authentication. I think a lot of services are authenticators are there, Google Authenticator, etc., etc. You can use those. Okay. There is also uh, older methods which are basic authentication. Currently, I was using cookie method. You can use all these methods, and luckily our APIs are that advanced, and which they are support they support all these authentication methods. So you can choose based on your security. Like if you're working on banking side, I would say okay, go for OAuth 2.0, okay, or maybe some
Okay.
other advanced authentication method.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ashish. And then how the website will be host of the Drupal will be hosted? Like we need to have Drupal running and then also the front React as a front end, or how should the hosting look like?
So your hosting must support Drupal, okay, the
Hmm.
PHP, and also the Node.js. If it does
Okay.
support these two, then you can host your React and your Drupal within the same hosting.
Okay.
You can. I would also suggest to look into how can you create a single image using Docker. So because AWS does support running a website from a Docker directly. Okay. So what you can do, there'll be a Docker to Docker deployment. Okay. So the Docker which is running in your local will run on AWS, but that will be the public one. So that will be one of the easiest architecture I would say to use.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ashish. So I think we have answered almost all the questions of our audience. So thank you, Ashish, for answering the questions of our audience. So moving to an end of the meetup, I would like to request once again to provide us the valuable feedback. Feedback form link is already shared in the chat. I would like to thank the audience for attending this event, our speaker Ashish for sharing the knowledge effectively, and of course our volunteers who were at the backstage team and helping us continuously to make this event successfully. Thank you everyone and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Good evening.